Here's Joe's 2,000 points of orcs. Joe, take me through your list.
Okay, on the far right there, we've got Ghazghkull in a unit of knobs. There's two boss pulls, there's one boss pull and two power claws. They have a log banner, and two of the guys have big choppas. The guy with the big choppa over his head and the cyborg body is the boss in that unit. Then we got a big mech, and he has the mega custom force field. And by request in there is Ghazghkull himself. He's leading the force. He has an attack squig. That's all he's got. This is an unbound list, so in the back we have a second Lord of War, and that is the Kill Bursta. It has been upgraded with the actual Bursta cannon, so it has the D weapon. It's a 7-inch blast, 36-inch range, but it does have to use the Orky ballistic scope too. So, moving on to the left, we've got Ghazghkull in his formation unit. Basically, what that means is they have to start in reserve. They can deep strike as 3 units of 5 Storm Boys or as one huge unit together. And basically what they get is they only scatter 1d6, and they get shred on their Hammer of Wrath. Moving on to the left, we've got 2 mech guns. Each of those has a, what's it called? Custom mega cannon, that's it. And it's been upgraded to have 2 ammo runts and 4 extra Gretchen in that unit. To the left of that, we've got a big blob of 20 Shooter Boys. No upgrades other than the shooters themselves, and they have 2 boys in the back with big shooters. And the knob has a boss pole and a combi scorcher. To the left of that, again, we've got a unit of 6 Killicans. Each of them has been upgraded to have Grot Riggers, and all of them are WYSIWYG except the ones with Grotzukas. Those also have rocket launchers. In the back of that, we then have finally 2 Death Dreads, and each of them has 2 extra claws and also has Grot Riggers. And that's the list.
Alright, there's 2,000 points of orcs. Here's 2,000 points of Armageddon Steel Legion. We'll start in the corner with the Shadow Sword. It has no upgrades on it. And we've got a Hellhound, a Veteran Squad, and a Chimera with 2 Melta-Guns. For HQ, we've got Knight Commander Pask in a Punisher with a Las Cannon, Multi-Melta, and Dozer Blade, paired with a Battle Tank with 2 Heavy Bolter Sponsons and a Las Cannon. Then we have Commissar Yarrick, a infantry platoon with 3 squads, all with grenade launchers and missile launchers, and they're all in Chimeras with heavy flamers. For the platoon command squad, it's got a heavy bolter and a plasma gun in a Chimera. And there is a Commissar that's attached to the platoon with a bolt gun. And then we have a Scout Sentinel with a las cannon, and 2 armored sentinels in a squad with each other with plasma cannons. So that's 2,000 points of Armageddon Steel Legion. Alright, here are the Orks and the Steel Legion facing off on the Ash Wastes of Armageddon. Joe, can you describe the mission for this game?
Alright, so this mission is basically just going to be kill points. Everything, when you wipe a full unit, that is a victory point. Super heavies are going to be worth 3 victory points if you kill each of those. Anything else? Other than that, we're not using objectives, just everyone's killing everyone. The only thing we're doing is we're borrowing some rules from the Apocalypse book. I think it's the latest edition of Apocalypse for Armageddon Unnatural Disasters. And the way that works is every turn after 2, you roll a d3 and it selects a natural disaster that can happen on Armageddon, like it's like an earthquake, a acid rain effect, and an asteroid storm called in by the Orks. So we'll go over that as it happens. I think, in the game, but for now, that'll be starting turn 2 onward, it looks like.
Right, here's Joe's deployment. You want to describe anything, or is it just kind of a pretty standard?
Pretty standard deployment. We got the line of Killicans, they're squadroned up. Behind them is the Death Dreads, the Killbursters in the middle, and we've got Ghazghkull and his retinue in there. We got the big mech. To the side of that is just the boys and the mech guns. Ghazghkull is in reserve.
Alright, for Steel Legion deployment, we've got the Hellhound up as far as I can to deal some early damage. We've got the Plasma Sentinels hiding down in those ruins. We've got the Vet Chimera right there. We've got Pask and his battle tank. And then we have the entire platoon dismounted, hanging out in those trench, trying to provide kind of a meat shield to the tanks. And then we've got the Chimeras behind there. And then behind all of that, we've got the Shadow Sword. So basically all this platoon's going to be doing is trying to protect the Shadow Sword. And we've got Yarrick up in the middle right there. So, and where's Ghazghkull right now? Is he in?
Ghazghkull is inside the Killburster.
Ghazghkull's up there. So, got Ghazghkull versus Yarrick. So, see you after turn 1.
Okay, so after deployment and rolling off to see who goes first, I got first turn, and Michael wants to seize. So,
nope.
All right. So Orks currently have the first turn. All right. End of the Ork movement phase. Not a lot happened. Just the cans moved up here, passing their dangerous terrain. The Death Dreads behind them also moved up with them. None of them haven't done anything out yet. Killburster moved up from where it was back here into the terrain, but it doesn't have to worry about dangers because it's a super heavy and it has a large dozer blade on the front. It has a special rule basically saying that. I can't remember the name. So far, the Shooter Boys moved up 6, and the mech guns here have held their position. And that's it for the Ork movement phase. Alright, this is the end of the Ork shooting phase. Not a whole lot happened. The mega cannons fired into this infantry platoon here and scored a couple of almost direct hits and killed pretty much everyone in the front line. The only other unit that was in range to fire the squadron was this unit of boys back here with the big shooters. The regular shooters were not in range, but the big shooters could. They whiffed pretty much all their shots, and the guy in the front made his cover save. Over here, Killicans fired all of their rockets into the Hellhound and didn't do anything at all, which was pretty pathetic. However, the big guy in the middle, he fired his D cannon over here, hoping to score against this big squad over here, some of the Chimeras and maybe the Shadow Sword, but it scattered back and hit just the Shadow Sword, and it took the full 3 hull points off there. So that's it for the shooting phase. I don't think I'm going to get any assaults in. Nobody's in range, so we're just going to move on to guard turn 1.
Alright, guard turn 1 movement. Only 2 things moved, which is the Vet Chimera right there and the Hellhound to get in position to burn some of those boys. So, as expected, not a lot of movement from the guard. Steel Legion shooting phase. The Shadow Sword took a shot and took out how many? It didn't take out any, did it?
No.
It got an armor save. Torrent Flamer took out substantial amount of boys over there. The pretty much everything else, including the multi-lasers and the missile launchers from this squad, shot at the Killicans and took out 1 and scratched 2 hull points off. So
Weapon destroyed.
Weapon destroyed on that one. So that was pretty much everything. So not a bad shooting, but not a great one either. So that was the guard shooting, and they are not going to assault anything.
Okay, this is the end of the Ork movement phase, turn 2, and it is a sad time for the boys. We used the Apocalypse, Armageddon, Armageddon and Natural Disasters table, and from there we decided, since we don't have a unbiased intermediary that we would just scatter anything that happens 6 plus however many d6 from the center of the Aquila. When we did that, it scattered back 15 inches over to here before the movement phase, and we rolled an acid rain result, which ended up killing more of the Shooter boys and a good chunk of the Gretchen crew here too. So that's pretty bad. In other news, Ghazghkull's unit, I decided not to be too aggressive with them because I kind of want them to actually survive and kill something. Considered deep striking them a bit further forward up here maybe, but they just would have been shot to death. So they're back here, they didn't scatter, and they're safe for now. The Killburstum moved up here, through the terrain, next to where the Hellhound is. The Killicans all moved over here. They're going to hope to maybe get a charge on the Hellhound here, blow it up, get it out of my face so it doesn't deal with the Storm Boys who are nicely clumped there. Over here, the Death Dread ran here, and sadly, this Death Dread, trying to run through the cover here, immobilized itself. And it has no ranged weapons, so it is a statue for the rest of the game, and it's just not going to do anything. That's the risk you run when you put 2 claws on it, but it has no ranged anything. So, you know, it could kill itself that gets hot, or it could kill itself running, or that's walkers in 7th edition, so. Alright, that's it for the movement phase. We'll see you in the shooting. Okay, Orc shooting made up for their terrible, terrible movement phase for a little bit. First of all, the mech guns here fired over again in this direction. They scored a couple good hits against the Chimera and the missiles right there. Killed a couple from that squad. Failed to glance the Chimera. That was actually done by the big Lord of War here. He fired in and hit the Chimera and the Shadow Sword again. Fortunately for Michael, the Shadow Sword took the smaller one. It just rolled a 1 on the destroyer table, but the Chimera took it, rolled a 6, and it was immediately just destroyed. Over here, the Killicans jumped over the wall, or after they jumped over the wall, they fired their rockets into the Chimera, scored 2 immobilizes, which was enough to just take out all its hull points, so it is a wreck. That is it for the shooting phase, but overall pretty good. They actually took out quite a bit for Orc shooting. So, I didn't disembark here. I can't because it moved 12, because this is super heavy. So, no one is in range to assault. If the Hellhound hadn't exploded, I would have with the cans, but whatever, Bob's your uncle. That is the Orc shooting phase done. So, on to guard movement next, or lack thereof movement.
Alright, Steel Legion movement. Some rather bad things happened. Let's start with the Scout Sentinel over here. Came in on its outflank, so that's good. These guys moved around the cover, and these guys moved up and disembarked so they can try to melt the rear or side armor of that. The bad thing, what's the thing called, Joe?
Searing Winds.
Yeah, Searing Winds from the Apocalypse Armageddon book came in from this board edge and wiped out 11 guardsmen that were in that trench, which is actually surprisingly good rolls on me.
It hit 26 times,
yeah.
and he only
wounding on 2s.
Yeah, it's AP5.
So that was actually really good for me, but I don't know, maybe it was a mistake using these Armageddon Apocalypse rules for
in a game.
Yeah, small game.
Points,
but I think it's fun. But
yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
I thought the acid rain was bad.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what happened. So yeah, that trench is empty now. But let's see what shooting does. All right, Steel Legion shooting phase, turn 2. Did quite a bit of damage. Pask annihilated a squad of Killicans. A battle cannon shot destroyed a lot of Storm Boys, which was very good. It got a direct hit. Plasma cannon dealt some damage over there too. The heavy bolters and multi lasers did some damage over there too. But the star of the show was that Melta guy right there, who got extremely lucky and took off how many points, Joe?
4 hull points.
4 whole points off the super
He got
heavy.
an explodes, and then he rolled maximum D3 for his additional damage, so he did 4 hull points to the
So, pretty good shooting. Scout Sentinel missed its shot over there, but that's alright. It's back there, causing some havoc. But, yep, pretty productive shooting, and I am not going to be assaulting with everything, so it's going to go to Orks movement next.
Okay, yeah, that last shooting phase was pretty brutal. This is the end of my movement phase. I forgot to mention it last turn, but the boys here, after taking that shooting, they failed morale and they fell back 6 inches. Ghazghkull's unit actually managed to hold through. They failed morale, but then the mob rule check let Ghazghkull actually killed 4 boys to keep them in line. So all we've got left there is Ghazghkull himself, the Knob with the claw, and a single Storm Boy. The disaster that happened this time was, I forget what it was called. It was the Superheated Ash Storm, which is an apocalyptic blast that scatters from the center of the table. At least that's the way we're playing it. And then it stays in play, kind of like the Vortex rule in the basic rulebook. But the interesting thing about it is every single one of its profiles has Melta. Ended up killing quite a few more of Ghazghkull's boys, and even a couple off of this squad that's falling back. But thankfully it didn't scatter onto, this guy or over here, because it absolutely would have destroyed everything.
Yeah, the Melta.
With the Melta profile, it would have destroyed everything, so it actually got outlined. But this scatters 2d6 per turn now. We don't have the Apocalyptic Blast marker, but that's what it is. But yeah, for the movement, because they're so devastated, they're never going to get over here, which is what I kind of wanted to have happen. I don't know why I thought that. They jumped over here, and they're going to try and deal with the Sentinel there, which they should probably do if they make their charge. The mech guns have sort of inched forward every so often here. They're there. The super heavy here, the Kill Crusher, has moved forward, and Ghazghkull and his squad here have jumped out, and they're ready to fight Yarrick and his unit, so that should be interesting. The assault phase. The Cans jumped over their fallen brethren here. There's only 2 left in that unit. One's on a wound. They're going to think about charging in here eventually. And then the Death Dread that didn't immobilize itself is looking to see if it can duke it out with the Armored Sentinels there. So yeah, that's the movement phase about. We'll get back with the shooting phase. It should be pretty short. I don't have a whole lot of shooting left. But this will be the first turn with an assault phase, I think. So, yeah, see you in the shooting phase. Alright, end of Orc shooting. Not a whole lot happened, to be honest. The Cans here shot their rockets into the unit of veterans there. Hold on, let me get a better angle, but they ended up killing 2 of the Melta vets who were standing out front, which, it's unlikely they score Overwatch, but if they did, I would have cried if they had been killed to Melta Overwatch. So that's that. We'll see if they can make the charge there. The only other thing is the Storm Boys, because Scout Sentinels open topped armor 10 and took some shots with the Sluggers. They all missed. These 2 guys shot over at the Chimera, ended up doing 1 hull point and shaken, so it's snap shooting. And then the D here, because I didn't want to scattering and hitting these guys, unfortunately, if I fired it here, ended up shooting over at Pask's squadron. It scattered off, ended up only hitting the battle tank there, and it did 2 hull points. So that's that. Next, yeah, pretty uneventful, so next would be the assault phase, so I'll get back to you with that. Alright, Orc assault phase. This happened here. They made their charge. Ghazghkull's Hammer of Wrath with his Shred, plus the Knob with his Power Claw, ended up killing and exploding that Scout Sentinel, but unfortunately, because they are AP2, the explosion that occurred ended up killing yet another one of the Storm Boys and putting the knob that's in that squad on 1 wound. Zagstrick's still okay. More bad news here. The cans trying to charge this unit failed their charge. The Death Dread here trying to charge the Scout Sentinel failed his charge. Here, because they were so close, they ended up making it. And we're going to get back to you with the challenge that occurs here between Ghazghkull and Yarrick.
Alright, so here is the combat between Yarrick and Ghazghkull, so thought we might as well film this part. So
Yeah, because it's it's a classic matchup, I guess. Okay, so they are both unwieldy. Oh, you know what you should have done in the Overwatch instead of overwatching with the bolter?
what?
You should have overwatched with Yarrick's silly laser.
Oh, his eye, yeah.
He's got his silly laser. I forgot about that. Either way, it has even a less of a chance of doing stuff. He actually hit once, I think, and wounded with the bolter, but the armor deflected it. Either way, here's the combat between them. For posterity's sake, they're striking simultaneously because they're both unwieldy. But we'll do Gaz first.
Yep.
He has an attack squig, so he can reroll 1. It's basically mastercrafting his power claw. He is currently weapon skill 7 because of the Wog banner, and he's base weapon skill 6. Yarrick, I'm pretty sure, is high enough. He's weapon skill 5, right?
Yeah, he's weapon skill 5.
Okay, so hitting on 3s either way. I just want to see if Yarrick hits back. Okay. He misses twice, hits 4 times. He's got an attack squig, so rerolling 1. Hits 5 times. And he wounds Yarrick on 2s. Okay, that is 5 wounds on Yarrick. But Yarrick has
4 up and 1.
4 up invuln.
Let's try this 4 up invuln save. So he takes 2 wounds.
Okay, he is an Eternal Warrior, so...
Takes 2 wounds, yep. Can't be instant death.
Okay, alright, now here's the interesting part. I deliberately chose not to call a Wog before doing this because I didn't want Ghazghkull to just stomp him into the ground. Because that is what would happen. Because 2 up invuln is silly. I didn't do it, but statistically because of that, because Yarrick has an invuln save, Ghazghkull doesn't. Yarrick could actually kill Ghazghkull there, so we'll see.
Let's see, so 3 attacks. You know, on what skill? 5?
Yep, hitting on force.
Yikes.
Only 1 hit.
Yep, only
Okay,
1 hit.
that's good for me.
So Power Claw, does that do anything?
Power Claw is strength times 2, same as a fist. Yarrick, I believe, is strength 3. He might be strength 4 base, though. That's gonna make a difference.
3.
Okay, yeah, so he's strength 6. That's that actually that wounds Ghazghkull on 3s. It's a 2.
Yeah, nothing.
Okay, nothing.
Looks like
Gaz.
Yarrick's probably gonna die.
Yarrick is fearless, right?
Yeah, Yarrick's fearless.
Okay, so Yarrick and Gaz are in the combat.
Wait, where would it say he's fearless? Would it say?
It would say under his profile. It would say what he is.
Nope, he just has Iron Will and...
Seriously?
Yeah, after looking at the Yarrick rules, we also looked back at the footage, and I rolled a 1, so preferred enemy, I get to re-roll that. But
So-
Yarrick is not fearless, apparently.
Nope, he is not.
That's still a 2.
That's a 2.
Alright.
Okay. Either way, it was a good effort, Yarrick. So yeah, now might as well do the morale test, right? Because he's not fearless. Yeah, he's not easy stubborn though. Check that.
I would hope he's stubborn.
Is he not stubborn?
I guess not.
Oh my god. So he has to deal with the fact that all the other guys got slaughtered, I guess.
Yeah. Alright, so...
Yeah, so after checking, Yarrick is not stubborn either. That means that the 8 other guys that died in the combat are going to affect his morale. Because there's a mega armored war boss, aka Ghazghkull, in there, though, he can't be sweeped. He's just going to have to run away.
Alright.
So, you could make heroic morale. So roll 2d6. If he rolls double ones, he's good. But
Nope.
yeah, he's not good. So mega armor in there makes the unit slow and purposeful. Yarrick just gets away. So roll 2d6. See how far he falls back. You falls back 7 inches.
Okay.
I can't believe he's not fearless. That's ridiculous.
Nah, I thought he was fearless. I have a plan him fearless. Falls back 7 inches, so back here.
Okay. Yeah.
Very
So
uneventful
just
combat, yeah. Here was Steel Legion's movement for turn 3. So after looking at the rules and googling it, Yarrick is not fearless, which is bizarre, and he does not have stubborn, which is weird because the Lord Commissar has stubborn. Let's see. So for the movement itself, the Chimera and Vets moved back, Pask and his battle tank moved back, as well as these armored sentinels. So that's everything that moved. The Chimeras are just gonna stay there, and yeah, we'll see what happens in the shooting phase. Alright, Steel Legion shooting phase. We forgot to mention we rolled on the Armageddon environmental thing, but it really didn't do anything, so.
Yeah, still, the acid rain ended up scattering into the mobilized walker pretty much. And it
didn't do anything, so. Let's see. Shooting took out pretty much Pask. Punisher took out pretty much all of his unit, and he's down to 3 wounds. Lasguns shot at them too, pretty much most of the stuff shot at them. The Kilocan unit took a direct battle cannon hit since they did the split fire order and destroyed all the Kilocans. That guy is still fine over there. And managed to hit this, but rolled a 1 with the Shadow Sword. So, yeah, shooting phase, not a lot shot, but it was pretty much concentrated on them. And then the heavy bolter from the platoon command squad right there actually shaved a wound off, but they're all gonna die from Ghazghkull next turn probably. So
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Probably. So yep, that's the end of Steel Legion turn 3. I'm not gonna assault anything.
All right, not a whole lot happened. Orc movement. This just sort of swiveled because it's probably gonna take a shot, hoping to finally kill this. Ghazghkull inch forward because he's going to probably charge them. The Death Dread kind of gave up on going after the Sentinels. It's not going to get there in time. So it's going to try and make kind of a long charge against the veterans there. These guys, because I wanted to deny kill points for them getting wiped out because they're worth quite a lot actually, are just jumping back here because they don't want anything. These guys are staying still because they're in range of everything they want to shoot at. So, yeah, that's movement phase. We'll get back to you after shooting. Okay, end of Orc shooting. There wasn't really a whole lot. Ghazghkull fired into this with his twin link shooter. He caused a wound, but the flak armor save made it, so he didn't do anything. This fired over towards the Shadow Sword. It actually hit, and it did. It got the D3, but then cover save brought it back up. It would have done good amount of hull points, probably. These fired also over here, hoping to get some either lucky hull point or a scatter. It actually ended up scattering onto this Chimera here and took a hull point off and destroyed the multi-laser. But other than that, kind of disappointing. I was hoping that the D here would get a lucky hit on this and end up pulling it up, but no such luck. Alright, after this is the assault phase. Really only it's Ghazghkull, so get back to you on that. Alright, end of the Orc assault phase. Really nothing happened of note. Gaz charged into the last remaining platoon command squad there. Predictably, he kind of just wiped them all out.
Challenge the Commissar.
Yeah, I challenged the Commissar. Killed him, killed everyone. The Dread here attempted to make the charge there, but rolled a double 1. That's not what I needed. So that is the end of the assault phase here. Next, it is on to guard, shooting.
Alright, Steel Legion movement. Pask and his battle tank moved a little bit. These guys moved back, the Vets and the Chimera. And then these Scout Sentinels moved a little bit, so that's about it. yeah, let's see what happens. I think Ghazghkull is going to die in the shooting phase, but we'll see. Alright, Steel Legion shooting. Pask got Ghazghkull down to 1 with the help of these guardsmen, his Stormbolter and Balai, and then the battle tank shot there, got a direct hit, but it failed to pen. One of these got hot, so he's down to 1 wound, and the other hit, but he also failed to pen. The Shadow Sword took a shot at there, and he is down to 1 hull point, so hopefully I can get rid of that by the end of the game. And yeah, that's pretty much all that happened. There's not much left on the board, so it's time for Yarrick to assault into Ghazghkull Thraka and hopefully kill him.
I'll see.
Alright, we're gonna do all the rolls for this combat and see if the charge actually makes it. So, how many inches does he need?
Let's see. He needs a 4-inch charge. He makes it a 7.
That is a 7, so he's gonna make it in there.
Yep.
Alright. Both unwieldy, so they're gonna attack at the same time.
Let's just do Yarrick first, because he's the one charging.
So he gets 4 attack on the charge.
Yep.
Weapon skill 5.
Hits on 4s.
All of them hit. Okay. And he is, so it's strength 6 because he's got the power claw, right?
Yeah, strength 6, unless he has fierce charge, which I don't think he does.
I don't think he does.
Yeah, he shouldn't. But yeah, that's wounding on 3s now. That's 3 wounds. Okay, Ghazghkull did pop Wog, which is the only reason he survived really the barrage of anything. Otherwise, the Meltas and the las cannon from Pask would have killed him. So he has 3 saves to make, or he is dead. He fails 1.
Oh, let's see if the
feel no pain. No. Okay, Ghazghkull is for sure dead.
But let's see if in his death blows.
Yeah, let's see if he kills Yarrick.
See if they just both kill each other.
Oh, it would be so glorious. Yarrick has the ability to come back to life.
Yeah, that is true.
So I don't know if I'm actually going to slay the Warlord here. You definitely have it though. Ooh, that is a pathetic display. He misses 2. Let's attack squig 1. Okay, that's 4 hits. Wounds on 2s. Okay, that is 4 wounds, but Yarrick has a 4 up in
Oh, he's down to 1.
He's down to 1.
Yarrick triumphed.
Yarrick killed Gaz.
I thought everything was lost when he ran away, but
no. Well, he made it back.
Yeah,
so he's still that. So.
He was just recharging and let the platoon command squad.
Yeah, he was recharging.
Alright, there's that combat.
Okay, Yarrick can consolidate, see how far he does. 1d6.
1d6, yeah. 1 inch.
Just 1 inch, so he inches forward.
Alright, so there's that combat.
Yeah, so he killed him. Okay, there was not a lot of orc movement. This guy stayed still, because I'm just going to sort of last gasp him into shooting here. The Death Dread kind of circle around, and if he doesn't make the charge against these armored sentinels, I'm actually going to break him. Yeah, Grot stayed still. Actually, there was an environmental thing that we forgot to mention. Over there, it was Searing Winds again coming from the center. This time it hit the Grots. It's strength 5, but fortunately, since they're part of the artillery piece, they're toughness 7, which is hilarious, and it only killed 2 of them. So, alright, next is shooting. Alright, Orc shooting. There wasn't really a whole lot left to shoot. The mech guns here fired at Yarrick, seeing if they could maybe kill him. Both of them scattered wildly, went into this unit here, and the Chimera there killed a couple off of him. Actually took a whole point off the Chimera too. This thing, last gasp, fired at this, hit both of them actually, the Shadow Sword and the Chimera. But the D hit, rolled a 1 on the Chimera here, and it got through here, rolled a D3 hull points, rolled a 1, and then the cover save was made for the wreck in front. So that's twice this has happened, and it's still on 5 hull points, and I'm on 1. So next is the assault phase. The only thing that's going on here is this guy is going to try to charge over there. Alright, end of the assault phase, I don't have to eat my hat. He actually made his charge and he ended up killing both the sentinels there. Other than that, that is pretty much it for the assault phase. There's really not a whole lot left on the board there. The Storm Boys are chilling out in the back and hoping to not give up victory points. He's immobile. These guys are okay, but there's not very many Gretchen left in the unit. This is going to die imminently, and Ghazghkull is killed by Yarrick. So we'll move on probably to the last part of this game here and let the
Count them up.
count them up. Well, let the Steel Legion take their
Yeah,
last turn, then count up victory points and see who won.
Alright, this is the end of the Steel Legion shooting phase, and nothing could really happen after that, so we're ending the game here. Here's the aftermath of the game and what is actually left. So, yeah, a lot of stuff died this game, so we're going to count up victory points and see who wins, but thought I'd show off the aftermath of the battlefield. The shooting phase took out his super heavy with Pask's Meltas.
That was a pretty easy kill for Pask.
And then I fired that to try to kill the Storm Boys, but it missed the Shadow Sword. But yeah, here's the carnage. So yep, we'll total up victory points, but it's a fun game, and we'll see who won. Alright, after doing the math, it is a Steel Legion victory with Steel Legion having 9 and Orks having 8. We calculated it using the environmental stuff. Didn't count for either of us, so those took off a unit each of ours, I think. But yeah, besides that, fun game. Looking back on it, we probably shouldn't use those environmental rules unless it's Apocalypse.
Unless you have enough units that you don't care if they're killed by, wandering Melta vortexes. Yeah, I don't think I'd use those again.
I mean, it was really fun. I thought it was
It was neat.
it was cool
It killed a lot
and
more
fluffy
than I
because
thought.
it's fighting on Armageddon. But yeah, so that's a Steel Legion victory with Yarrick standing over his rival and foe. So
Friend, you mean?
friend. But yeah,
That's
fun battle. 2 very fluffy, fully painted lists. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this battle report.